real estate agents. Welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host, Joey Sampaga. He is the man with the plan. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm pumped up and ready.
Yes.
We got a guy sitting across us that looks like more pumped up than me. Looks like he lifts a lot. We got a great guest with us. That's Steve Valentine, the Valentine Group at My Home Group. How are you doing, Steve?
Good. How are you, Jeff?
Steve.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited. Some of the things we were talking about before we hit the record button. I mean, it's amazing. You've built quite a name for yourself, but also quite a portfolio.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
Yeah.
So, agents, just so you know, we're going to talk a lot about investing today. So, not a lot of this traditional stuff. This is going to be more on an investing show, and Steve's going to tell us how he's doing all that, how he got started. So, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the agents and how long you've been in the business and how you got into it.
So, I'm Steve Valentine, and been in the business 20 years. Actually, this month I've held a license 20 years. I got into the business because somebody decided to steal all my tools when I was an auto mechanic, and I went back to my dad and said, "Hey, can I try this real estate thing?" When I was 20, and that's where it started. So I'm third generation. My grandmother was one of the first women real estate brokers in Illinois. They all moved out here in the 80s, and that's kind of where I got my start from my dad. In 99, I got my license.
Wow.
Those weren't Snap-on tools, were they?
They were.
Oh, no.
It was $30,000 worth of tools that I got a big fat
Ouch.
insurance check on, and that was my way out of the business.
Yeah. So whoever that is, you know who you are, right?
Yes.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's one of those blessings you go back and look at and go, that was a blessing,
There
not a
you go.
curse.
No, that's awesome. That is amazing. So you've been speaking around the country even, right?
Yes.
You go kind of here and there and everywhere.
Yes.
And what's kind of the most exciting place you've been? I'm just doing this before we get into it. But.
Right. Exciting. I love speaking on home ground here, and because a lot of friends and people that we know, but have been to Orlando, to Nashville, a couple of times in Vegas, and Portland.
All right. I've heard Nashville's a fun place.
Nashville is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nashville is like their street Broadway is like the Vegas of country music.
Yeah.
Or the strip of Vegas and
Right.
country music. So you walk up and down. I think my wife and I went out there, and we'd go out at 11 o'clock at night, and then you'd stay out until 4 o'clock in the morning listening to music, walking up and down the streets, and it was a blast.
Wow.
You've never been there yet, Jeff?
I've been there. That's
Have
what
you?
but I haven't stayed there to party on
Broadway.
or whatever. I've just stayed there we went to, I don't know what that big place was. Anyway, there was some big resort that we went to, but
Right.
I didn't get to hang out at the place,
Yeah, it was,
anywhere.
it was a
I didn't get to
blast.
hear it.
We did 2 nights in a row of being out all night, and it was a lot of fun, a lot of good music, a lot of people
Cool.
trying to get their start there.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's where they're all trying to make it.
And did you know it's actually the for bride parties? Why did I just totally screw that up? They go out like it's the capital of that. Yeah, for that.
For
Bridal party.
Bridal parties and all that stuff?
Why is that cross?
Yeah, I'm like, huh. What have you been reading?
Yes.
Right.
Bridal magazine.
Bridal magazine?
Bridal magazine. Jeez.
You look like a biker dude.
Is it the goatee?
Yeah, I guess so. So let's get into it. So you've been around the world mostly speaking on real estate investing, and you mentioned how many flips have you done in 5 years now?
We've
Has it
surpassed 500 flips in the last 5 years.
500.
been? Wow, that's amazing. What part? So here in the Phoenix Metro. So what part of the valley is it? Pretty much all over, or you see that you concentrate in certain areas?
So we learned early on when we try to do too much all over the place, you start stretching thin. Your crews stretch thin because you're doing a property in Mesa and then one in Glendale. Well, the crews are now driving an hour and a half each way between properties.
Right.
So we started looking at more, let's be focused. So we're primarily focused in Phoenix and the West Valley.
Yeah.
Our office is out in the West Valley.
All right. And you own a good portfolio yourself.
We do.
Sounds like.
We do. It was one of the things that, what I learned from my dad when he passed was he was incredibly creative. He was incredibly involved. He was probably one of the highest producing people at trustee sale as far as purchasing on behalf of investors, almost 900 homes in 5 years for investors.
Yeah.
Thing that I saw when he got sick was he didn't take 1 out of 10 homes and buy it himself. So he didn't try to partner with investors. He didn't, none of that was happening. It wasn't a thought process because it was income driven. So all it was income. So when he passed, it was 9 months, real short stint when he got diagnosed with cancer. I really started to check myself and realize that, hey, there's opportunities all over the place as a licensed person, and I don't want to not take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of me.
Right.
And so, my mom's retirement would have been a lot different. Even if my dad had bought, if any of us had bought 10 homes in 2009, life would be a lot different right now.
Sure.
Yeah,
You could have
it
bought
would.
stuff in Maryville for 20 grand and put a fence around it and been a millionaire right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Would have
so,
been selling all 10 right now and buying a place in Mexico.
right,
No,
right,
or whatever, right?
But so there's different ways to get there. So I just saw that, and then I realized that as a real estate agent, as we started to get into doing some of the flipping, it was starting to look at creating the intentional opportunity. So we started taking data from the property management company, the different properties, and showing investors that, yes, you bought a great house in Buckeye, but it's 4,000 square feet, and it's getting the same rent that a 1,300 square foot house would get at 59th Avenue in Olive. And so showing them the difference, because now every time a 4,000 square foot house turns over, it's 4,000 square feet of paint, carpet, it's 3
Yes.
AC units, it's so much more. And it was a great buy, and it was a great short-term hold, but let's put it into something long-term that's going to make more sense. And so it's just starting to develop strategies for investors and showing them this is what it looks like. And then it kind of turned into, my passion, which is, as I spoke all over the country, 95% of our industry doesn't invest in what they sell. So they don't have, it's a mindset shift. It's not that anything's done anything wrong, but if you look at Instagram and Facebook and everything else, everything is geared around flipping or wholesaling.
Yeah.
Nothing's geared towards your long term, and there's all kinds of ways to get there. And so now I'm trying to teach and coach real estate agents to really understand that piece of it. Flipping looks really appealing, but after doing 500 of them, and we've lost some money on some of them. They have not been, our biggest loss was 75 grand.
Wow.
And that hurts. But it was a learning curve. We understood it. We changed some things. Some people don't understand what they're getting into. And we also, our purpose, so we actually call our flips repurposed homes, because we wanted to really do the right thing every time, because it wasn't about profit, it was about people. And I never want the, single mom that has had the goal to buy a house and get in there and then stuff start falling apart. Like, that wasn't the purpose of it. And I wanted to make sure it was really about people. So we always do the right things because it's right.
That's good.
Yeah, that sounds great. Good
So-
message.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's
Absolutely.
important. If you're going to do it the right way.
Do the right thing.
So who is your contractor?
The boss.
Loaded question.
The boss.
The boss. So, Wendy, who we call Boss Lady Red, she's red hair and she's a Spitfire and she's a country girl from upstate New York. Construction was kind of in her family. And we bought our very first home 5 years ago with a partner who put up all the money. And Wendy started to do the work. And so I'm like, well, I'll find the house. You manage the guys and do the design. So when you put the contractor piece, now I'm talking about a designer and a contractor that really understands the process of building. Like, hey, we can't do this without this. And if we do this, this is going to be off. Or if we put this cabinet here, it's not going to work. So she understands both sides of it, to where I've seen a lot of people get frustrated with designer and contractor trying to work together, and they tend to fight about things. So we have the best of both worlds. Plus, she's had a real estate license for 19 years.
Yeah.
So she gets to interject her opinion on resale when somebody's deciding to do something. So it's been kind of a cool added value for our clients, because I have somebody to turn over that I know is going to do the job and is going to carry on our reputation. And it's a separated company, which is nice. So it's just, when we go through the inspection period, and like, well, we're thinking about, okay, well, let me have Wendy come and meet with you, because that's not my forte and I don't know the numbers and I don't claim to. So Wendy will come over and meet with them. We just did one. It's actually a fun story. So it's the third house that we've sold this gal. And she used to be a hostess for my wife when my wife was in the restaurant business. And so sold her the house. She was getting some pretty good proceeds. And she's like, I really would like to do the kitchen, the flooring. So during the inspection period, we lined everything out, got deposits. And day one of closing, the dumpster got dropped. And 2 weeks later, new kitchen, new flooring, everything done out the door, and then she could move in.
Oh, all right.
So it's great because there's a positive, and we've had a couple of people that have bought some of our renovated homes that have hired Wendy after the fact to come in and do some more stuff for them.
Got it. All right. So you guys are like the Phoenix Chip and Joe.
Yeah, we've been called that a few times. People keep asking, when are you guys going to do a show? And I'm like, I don't know if we have time for that stuff.
Yeah.
So
It does take time.
it does take time.
Wendy is Steve's wife, by the way.
Yes, that
Oh,
is
yeah,
my
I don't
wife.
think we ever said that, did we?
She runs the show, but it's been a great working relationship with that separation because she has her stuff and I have mine, and then we collaborate on what to do with the property, and then it kind of gets pushed into our real estate team to go and sell on the retail market.
Yeah. All right. So are you as funny as Chip?
I don't know, am I? You won't ever catch me. It's always one of those things that I love watching those shows, and I'm like, Tarek's in there putting tile on the wall. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. It's going to be the joke is, we have our strengths. My wife has a big ass workshop. Oops, I said ass. Sorry.
That's okay.
Workshop in the backyard. I don't have a shop. She has a shop. It's full of tools, and I'm not even allowed to use the drill. And that's okay.
You got a cool laptop, though.
Right. I got a cool laptop.
That's funny. That's funny. So so the coaching and training, you're doing some of that already with some agents?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done a couple
All
of
right.
different courses. It's called the Limitless Project because I believe it's a project, and I believe that agents, if they were taught early on how to have an unlimited mindset, that there are so many things you can do,
Yeah.
it creates a different path for them to go down. Because if you can couple the opportunities that you see, and this is what I see most agents doing is, and they may not be ready for it right now, and that's okay, but they find a great deal, and the first thing they want to do is figure out how to just make a commission or an income off of it by going and finding an investor. They take that listing like, okay, who can I find to buy this? Rather than, hey, where could I get some money to buy this myself? Who could I partner with? And that's where my mindset started going. But it was also being very aware of, we call it on our team, our slogan is handcrafted real estate. We handcraft real estate solutions based on somebody's desire, difficulty, or dilemma that they're having. And there's a lot of different things going on. So not everybody is in the traditional sell box. Not everybody is in the pay cash for my house. Some people need different alternatives. And we go through, it's like when we go through the investors, when we do our wealth building appointments with investors or with real estate agents, what's your goal? Okay, we're talking about buying investment properties, but what's your goal? What's the income goal? How are we going to get there? What's it going to take to get there? So we draft the plan and stick to the plan based on the end goal. So if you say, hey, I want to have $10,000 a month in residual income by this age, well, these are the things that we need to do to get there.
Yeah.
And I have a goal of 50 at 50, 50, which is age 50, 50 homes free and clear with a minimum of $50,000 a month in residual income.
Wow.
That's where I want to get.
50, 50, 50.
Yep.
How close are we?
We're 30.
You don't have to tell your age.
We're 30. We're 30. I got 9 more years and 15 more homes to go.
All right.
But we're getting there.
Almost a decade. You can do it.
Right.
How long did it take you
Absolutely.
to get 35 properties?
5 years.
5 years.
Our goal when we started was to pick up one property a quarter 5 years ago. And the opportunities, because now our mind was focused on what fits our buy box and what is the specific rental property that we want to know. It's kind of like vision boarding. You
Okay.
kind of know what you're looking at or looking for, then it kind of pops out and you're prepared for it. And so we just started acquiring those a little bit at a time. We've got a couple of VRBOs that turned out really good.
Right.
We own some stuff up in Munns Park. So it was just kind of a mixture of how we were getting there.
There's some tiny homes up there, I think.
There are some tiny homes. There's some mobile homes. There's some big homes. There's all
Yeah.
kinds of mixture up there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
So agents that are listening or watching, if they want to reach out to you directly to find out more about what you're doing, is that all right?
Absolutely.
You want to share a number?
Absolutely. Yeah, cell phone 602-769-3803. And then best place to go would be to subscribe on my website at stevedvalentine.com. That's where there's a lot of different things when it comes down to the investing and the coaching. And I've got another
All right.
course getting ready to launch in August.
All right, there you go, agents.
Sweet.
Now you mentioned too that you do have a team.
Yep.
And so you're doing traditional real estate.
Doing
as
traditional.
Well. So
Yep.
what's the team makeup? I mean, is it?
So the team makeup is actually very different than what your typical traditional team is made up. So we have a salary modeled with bonus, and I have my listing partner / TC, if that's what typically people look at it, but she's also my asset manager. So she's contracted to. I took all the emotion out of it and empowered her last year. So when we flip a property, it goes directly to her, and she has a box to stay in. She signs all the contracts, negotiates everything.
Yeah.
I stay out of the way. And so I just let that go and not get involved in it because I have that trust with her. We have a CFO who manages all of our investor funds and our properties and our portfolio. And then I have a buyer's agent that does a lot of different things in the field, those types of things. And then we have an acquisition person that's just now starting. And then we also have one more person that's going to be doing wealth building consulting. So he'll be, working with our investors and figuring out how to move their portfolio based on the time and area that they want to go in.
Right. Wow. Sounds like a really detailed structure you got.
It's a mix. It's
Yeah.
a mix, and we're becoming more known for the investment side than the traditional side. We still have 20 years of reputation, and we still have the opportunity to go into a traditional side and again move the pieces around. I was talking to somebody this morning, how many people that have gone out and sold their homes to the online companies that nobody ever told them, like, have you thought about keeping this as a rental? Do you own it free and clear? Do you want to turn your house into a bank rather than being a landlord, by doing seller financing? Most people have no wherewithal to go through those numbers or structure or figure it out or show them, yeah, great, you cashed out and it was easy, but what if you could have done this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great alternative.
And that's coupled with, this is the big thing right now. I don't know if you guys know this, but the Phoenix rental market is on fire right now.
Yes, it is.
I mean,
Rents are crazy.
I just did a search the other day for the average 1,500 square foot house in the West Valley. You're looking at about $1,600 a month for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So the rents have increased $500-$600 a month over the last 5 years. And here's one of the reasons why is that a lot of the big companies that bought during the downtime have slowly exited the market. Coupled with, we have 200 people a day moving here.
Yep.
And all the growth, we've all seen all the articles of all the tech growth and all the stuff that's happening.
Right.
So we're out of inventory right now. If you thought about investing in real estate, and I was writing something yesterday, if you bought a house from 2010 to 2015, you probably have a really sweet mortgage. It's probably in the 3s. You probably bought really low. Your mortgage payment's below $1,000 a month. It's time to consider keeping that house and moving on to the next one. Rates are still good. You can still move up. You can move laterally, but it's a way to, it's a low entry point into investing by taking your primary and turning it into investment.
I see.
That's what I'm trying to teach agents to understand, is that if you're investing, now that listing that's the 210, 220, yeah, it's going to sell in 3 days and you're going to make $6,000. Why not show that person how to keep it and get them into their next home and go through that process to help them build wealth? I mean, you're picking up listings for down the road, but it's really helping people understand how to add that to their future.
Absolutely. It's almost putting on like a financial planner type hat.
It is.
Instead of just real estate agent.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, that's what we do with our investors when we show them, we just acquired 4 homes from an investor that bought in 2010. He was tired of being a landlord and he wasn't getting consistent income because you start looking at cap rates and rates of return and AC units going out, tenants, those types of things. He wasn't having consistency. So we took the price, we took cost of sale and repairs, some other stuff off, and I turned him from landlord to bank.
Wow.
So he seller financed all 4 of those homes, and now I raised his annual income by $10,000 a year, and he's got guaranteed income on those properties now. And he doesn't have any more phone calls on tenants, repairs, anything else. We took over that liability.
Wow.
So this is what's enabled us to move through some of these different things. And I did a video on Friday, I think, rental property, which was kind of crazy. And again, showing people the power and taking a little bit of risk. I bought a house, nothing down, 100% seller carry for 179 5 years ago. I've never seen the house. I just finally walked through it on Friday. The tenants vacated after being there 12 years. The house is worth $160,000 more than what I paid for it. And the tenants were there 5 years, paid $72,000 in income. And now I have the option either to keep it rented, sell it. So it's moving the balls and having that mindset of this has got to go on in the background rather than all the traditional chasing of buyers and sellers, and that there's ways to bring up conversations and teach your clients how to do it.
Right. You probably got the investor bug. So back years ago, when you did your first one, right? Were you just like so excited after? I mean, did it add a level, I guess, right? Because you're so in the traditional real estate side, right? And then you move into, I'm going to go ahead and get an investment.
So the story, I was just talking to the person that I actually sold that house to, was really interesting the way it all came about. And again, it has to do with the relationships that we have with people. So a guy that was friends with my dad the whole time I was growing up, like watched me grow up from the time I was 6. I go to him and we partner. I play racquetball with him twice a week. He's 75 years old. And he puts all the money up for this $150,000 house, and we're going to put $25,000 into it. So the tile guy we hired is putting tile in this house. His client is also my banker from a long time and a past client. He brings her over to show her the tile, and she calls me. She's like, I want the house. So she has a house that she owns, so we end up she puts a contract in on this one. All good. Our net profit on that one, our first one, so this is not normal, our net profit was $50,000 on the first one.
Whoa.
And we had a little bit into it. So then their house is under contract, all set to close, and 2 days before, the tax transcripts were wrong. Buyer can't qualify.
Oh, no.
So again, this is me. Somebody called me the mad scientist the other day. So I tell John, hey, I got an idea. We're going to close on this one, but we're going to buy their house, and the buyer's going to lease it for 3 months while they fix their stuff, and then they'll buy it and we'll be done with it. It all worked out seamlessly. So we just moved the pieces.
Yeah.
And it's just, you got to think outside the box. Like, you don't qualify? Well, let's figure out why and how do we move through it.
Right. You're like the problem solver in a way.
That's what I like to be.
That's it.
You give me the crazy and I'll figure a way around it.
No, that's great. That's
Good
awesome.
stuff.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? We forgot to say thanks to Patty Hackman
Yeah.
of Fidelity National Home Warranty for getting you on the show.
Yeah, Patty was in my office the other day. We use Fidelity, and she made a mention of it and sent me an email, and so I got on, and I'm like, I'm one of those people that I've learned to just say yes, don't procrastinate. So I'm like, oh, there's one available on Tuesday. That should be awesome to throw in the mix as I'm trying to get out of town.
There we go. Uh-oh.
Right.
Scheduled to leave this week?
Tonight.
Oh, tonight. Oh,
Nice.
gosh.
Wow.
Nice trip planned?
We spend 4th of July at Munns Park.
Okay.
That's our big summer vacation. We own a second home up there that we absolutely love, and there will be 50 people in our driveway on 4th of July, barbecuing, hanging out, playing cornhole. So it's
sounds like a good time.
Yep, great time.
Big party.
Yep.
So before we go into the next segment, anything else you want to make sure the agents know? Anything you want to share with them?
Yeah, I think the big thing for me is that if you're local here in Phoenix, or even if you're not local and you've got a crazy problem that you want to run by, that's what I do on a consulting basis. And if you're one of the things that I would say that I can do more so than any of these wholesalers or cash buyers or the online buyers is I have options, because I'm using private money, and because we do rentals and we do these things, we've had a ton of agents bring us a deal, and I'll go meet with them and the seller. I'm the cash buyer, but I can also consult with them and show them. So, last week we bought one. The lady needed 3 months to vacate the property because she had a ton of stuff. I think there's like 3,000 books on this property. Her husband was a geologist, all kinds of random stuff. So I closed on it in 7 days, and she has 3 months to vacate. So it just becomes a rental, and we worked into the deal to where there's no rent, and she gets her time, no stress. Unlike the online buyers, once it closes, sellers got to be out.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no time. We've had some sellers where their agents, like, they can't find the property that they want right now, so they need some time. We ink a contract, and I'll close 48 hours before they close on their buy. It's completely stress-free when it comes down to it, and we don't do a bunch of inspections. I mean, I walk the property, and we kind of know what we're getting into at the end of the day. But it's really about, I want to work with agents to help them bring a solution to their client and really talk about what that solution is.
Yeah.
And that's really what I think, that's what I love about our business. If you can do that, is that you're creating relationships and everybody's winning at the end of the day. And I want the agents to always know, like, I am always a resource and always have a solution, and we always have pockets to pull the trigger on something.
Got it. All right.
Well, I'm curious before we move on.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get to where you could fund your own stuff?
Oh, we still don't fund our own stuff.
Okay.
Because part of that's our wealth building program. So part of it is showing investors how to invest in real estate with us. And it enables us to spread out. So we're pretty wide. Like I said, we'll have between 15 and 20 projects going at any time.
Yeah.
And then we're also using some of the investors' money to acquire rental properties and do different things, and showing them different rates of return that they can put their money to work.
Got it.
So the relationships that we've built through our clients, and this is, again, what I try to show the agents, is that there are people in your database that have money and would invest if you showed them how, or you talked to them about it. You don't need to use the traditional hard money lenders. I used a few of them, but the more people I talked to, the more money was out there. And when you're giving them guaranteed rates of return, and they know you, love you, trust you, they're willing to take that risk. And there's not a lot of risk when it comes down to it, unless you're inexperienced. I've seen some people lend money to people they don't know. They tear the house up, they never make any payments, and then they lose money on the deal. So, you know, when you're going in that aspect of the relationship piece, and we always tell our investors, I sent an email to one the other day, these are relationships we've created. I get a text message, I've got $850,000, where can you put it? You're like, well, hold on a second. So you start going through, and we move some stuff around, and then I sent him an email, and I said, hey, I just want you to remember that every time you invest with us, you're having an impact on 32 local families.
Wow.
Between our office staff, their families, the seller that we provided a solution for, maybe the wholesaler, the agent that brought me the deal, and then it goes through all of my wife's subcontractors, all their families. So every time we do one of these, it's making a huge local impact in all that we're doing. And so it makes them feel good about the investment, and they know that they're helping us build our wealth and go through that process. And we get random selfies from 60, 70-year-old investors that are walking through the projects going, this looks really good. You know, I'm super happy about my investment, or, hey, I'm bringing my friend over to see what I'm doing with my money with you. And so it's just kind of been it just kind of has rolled and built.
That's cool that they get access. They can come out and check it out and everything.
Yeah.
We send them, for every repurposed home we do, we send them a coffee table book of the before and afters. What? This was your investment.
That's cool. Right.
So now they've got something like, yeah, this is what I invest in. So it's kind of fun.
Nobody said, Steve, find me one in Cabo.
No. No. Haven't branched out there yet.
Oh, that's funny. All right, you ready to... Oh, by the way, agents, Steve gave his number earlier, so make sure to reach out to him if you have questions. Are you ready to get in the ring?
Yep.
All right.
Go.
Let's do it. What's the best advice that anyone's ever given you?
Don't over leverage.
Don't over leverage.
That's a good one.
Yep.
How about your favorite mobile app?
Oh.
He's checking his
You were
phone.
mentioning
I'm
Instagram
looking.
earlier, but...
Yeah, Instagram's
fun,
probably one of those. Instagram and Facebook, are the two that I probably use the most at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Nothing exciting.
Just posting some fun stuff,
Yep,
though,
posting some
right?
fun stuff.
Having a good time.
Yep.
All right. How about a book recommendation?
My favorite book that I love to recommend to our industry is Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller.
Oh, that's
okay.
a good one.
So I think that thing that always resonated me, that, I mean, you guys being in the marketing space that you see, is as a real estate industry, we do a lot of hero wearing, cape wearing, I did all this, rather than being the guide through the journey.
Yes.
And the customer being the hero.
Yeah. Look at my latest listing.
Yeah.
I'm $1 million producer.
Do people still put that on their cards?
I don't know.
Do you put the stories of your clients or investors?
Yeah, so
somewhere?
we have this really cool conference room at our office, and we get pictures of our clients, and they go up on the story wall. Nice. And we're working on some stories, so if you picked one of those pictures off the wall, you would be able to turn it over and read their story.
Sweet.
Awesome. That's a great idea. All right, how about a productivity tool or software that you use on a regular basis?
I'm actually going to get out of the real estate thing, and my wife just got done building her stuff on her side of the business, and it's a software we use for the flips called Builder Trend. And it also coupled with a website for her stuff. And what's really cool about it now, and she built it all out in about 60 days, what's really cool is that we have all these projects going, and she's doing projects for consumers. We have a field coordinator that's going out and taking notes and updating pictures, so I can see the progress of the property as it's going through, and the customers can see it as well. And it's awesome because she pushes one button when we figure out what we're going to do to it. It dispatches all the requests for estimates. The contractors go on their app and fill out their estimate, and it comes back in and it gives me a proposal.
No way.
Cool.
So it's no more spreadsheets and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
It's super, it's awesome.
Sweet. Sounds
Yeah.
awesome. Oh, yeah. Last thing, have you draw a question from the mask?
This is beautiful. What is that?
Question from the mask.
Yeah, let's see what you got here.
Favorite singer or band in high school?
All right.
Oh, okay. So I have high school kids right now, and they're into a lot more rap than I was. So favorite band, I have to say, because it couples with a really bad memory, is Korn.
Corn. All right.
Yep.
With a K.
Yeah, with a K.
Yes.
Their song Blind came out the summer of my senior year, and I spent all summer mowing lawns, chasing hot air balloons to build this 1971 Blazer that had 412s and would break windows next to me. And it was stolen my first day of my senior year of high school.
No.
Never saw it again.
Somebody's picking on you.
I know,
Tools
right?
and a
Right?
Yeah, and a car.
Yep.
That's horrible. Awesome, man. Did you grow up around here?
So I've lived in the same square 10 miles my whole life.
Really?
I was
Okay.
born in Bloomington, Illinois, moved out here when I was 4. And we moved over to 51st Avenue in Peoria, and now I live at 71st Avenue in Thunderbird, and grew up most of my life in Moon Valley. Went to high school at Thunderbird.
All
Okay.
right.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Moon Valley. That was your
Yeah, that was
old
my area.
stomping
Yeah?
ground.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Well, Steve, thank you so much for being in.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been great information. I think the
Yes.
agents are going to learn a lot from this. So,
I think it's important. Just one last thing is
Yeah.
that the agents really start to look at their futures, that it's not all about the commission and the transaction base. And it's some of them understanding that they are just as an important of a client to themselves as anybody else is.
yeah.
And they have the right to pick up opportunities at the end of the day and increase their long-term wealth. And it's one of the things, like I said earlier, I really am passionate about agents not ending up where my dad did, of just hustling for income and letting people drag you around, and at the end of the day working in the industry for 30 years and looking back and going, I wished I would have. Because real estate is the only investment that you can leverage and have somebody pay off at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Everything else requires your own money, all of it, to invest to get that rate of return, to where real estate doesn't.
Yeah.
And so that's my big piece of advice.
That's great. Agents, invest in the industry that you work in,
Exactly.
not Bitcoin. No. I don't know if anybody's doing it. Anyway, I know somebody does. But anyway, thanks again, Patty Hackman at Fidelity National Home Warranty.
Yes.
Bringing Steve in. Until next time, agents, see you later.
Adios.
Adios. Bye-bye. Hey, we said adios.
We did. Jinx.